Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Thursday, and I know people are really starting to look forward to the Thursday show, and I love that. I love it, and I love it so much. And last week, Brett got credit for hello, which was not him. Yes, he's funny. I know it, but I'm taking that one. That is mine. But he did the other stuff. He also followed it up by, oh, he's here, which killed me. Anyway, we're talking about bits. This is going to be a good show here today. We're going to talk about Taron Egerton talking about Wolverine. It's been rumored that he was going to play Wolverine. Will he play Wolverine? He met with Feige. So what's the deal? Is it going to happen? The Boys. I've been really watching that. I watched that episode that Roxy said I would throw up on. I did not throw up on it. It is absolutely a crazy scene, but I did not throw up on it. Talk a little bit about Boys Season 3. Stranger Things crushed it all the way around. It finished up. There's shows that we should be watching that Roxy wants to talk about. Thor Love and Thunder, both Roxy and I have seen it. We can do a little bit of a non-spoiler review for all of you guys and give your thoughts. It's not as I thought I was going to be in the minority with my thought, but apparently I'm not. It's a lower rated Rotten Tomatoes score. Not rotten, but lower than most Marvel properties. So we'll get into that. That and more on the show here today, but make sure that you guys are going to subscribe to this channel. We need you to do it. Hit that. We're almost at 50,000. Who the hell knows? By the time we air this thing, maybe it is at 50,000. But we need you guys to help us out and get us to 100 because I'm going to talk about a potential stand-up comedy tour. That and more on the show today. Let's do it. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Big thing. And I'm excited to have you back. And what I will say is that it got a lot of love over the last week with the announcement of the ending of the movie Trivia Schmoedown. And people are asking, like, what's next? What's going to happen? What are you doing? And I've been talking a lot about the big thing in this channel. And this is where a lot the focus is going to go, has to go for me, for whether it's the stuff that I'm really interested in doing, the stuff that I'm going to be doing to protect my family, to do other things, all those types of things. Plus the idea I was messing around, and I had done stand-up for the first time in a long time on, it was a couple of months ago at Flappers Comedy Club, and I posted the clip just to see what you guys would think. And I put up there, it's up there now. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. And I was kind of overwhelmed by the comments and the thoughts, and it made me realize the thing that I really want to do next year is when we get this channel big enough that we can start to take the show on the road. And I'm not just talking about stand-up comedy, because stand-up comedy I would have myself, Brett, Kate, Winston, Coy come in and do a show. That's something we'll definitely do. But I think that when we do like an actual like city tour, I'd want to do multiple shows, and we'd also do like Big Thing and Sith inside the same weekend. And in order to do that, I would bring these two characters with me. I would bring Ms. Roxy Striar, and I would bring Brett Sheridan to do a couple different things. Spooky, yeah. We're getting a new light soon. But we do have this. We have this. We're moving on the show. We're starting to do new things. So I really appreciate everything that everyone's been doing. And Roxy was one of the first people that reached out, and as I said to her before we started, Roxy's one of the real ones, everybody. And she reached out and she asked me, "How you doing? How are you feeling?" And you always know who your true pals are right away. Brett didn't even text me once.
You told me.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But
he said something really nice about you on SCN, though. So does that count?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. Of course it does. But what's that show? No, I'm just kidding. No, but and that show, by the way, is doing very well for us on Patreon. So, but yeah, Roxy, it's like the Schmoedown was around 9 seasons and was just it was a big thing. That what was it from? You were there since season 1.
Yeah, this is a massive life change for you, Kristian.
Yeah.
I think that people on the internet forget about that consistently. Like this is your job, It is your life, and it's your baby that you created. So for anybody saying anything other than "How are you doing?" I don't get it.
Well, I mean, it's people in general. What I would say, because someone asked me yesterday, like what their response was, and I will say 96% of the competitors' fan base, people in general, very positive. Sad.
Yeah.
But very positive. I would say Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and calls, all those people, very kind, wonderful. It's been really, really nice. Like, it's a very small percentage of people who were being jerks about it, and I didn't really pay attention to it.
And they don't matter.
Doesn't matter at all, because it has to turn into more stuff. And that's why, like, when I started to put on this that clip yesterday that I put on the channel, I put it on Instagram, I put it on Facebook. I
loved it, by the way.
Did you not? Oh, yeah, you weren't able to go live to it.
No, but I went live to your.
You're in New York. You were there in the audience.
But no,
when I kind of surprised.
It was during World Girls, so I wasn't able to go. So I watched it, obviously.
You liked it?
Anything post, it was awesome. It was awesome. I love how much you're talking about your real life and your family. It feels like having a funny conversation with you.
And that's what I wanted to do. And that's why I wanted to kind of spin this back today, because Roxy had asked how my vacation was.
Oh no!
All right, so
here's what he said before we started the show. I said, was your vacation amazing? And he said,
it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was amazing. Like, the amount of time that we spent together as a family, awesome. It's like, so we went to Mill Valley. So for people who don't know what Mill Valley is, it's right near San Francisco. It's like right next to San Francisco. It's like
you road tripped.
We road tripped. We took the car and we drove, and it should take you about 5.5 hours. Brett and I drove to San Francisco once.
Oh yeah, that was a beaut.
That's a whole other story. But
real quick, Mill Valley has a song.
Do they?
If you Google it and it's a bunch of hippies singing it. It's I think my friend's wife is from Mill Valley, I believe. And yeah, after this you can look it up. It's quite humorous because it's just Mill Valley, and it's just a bunch of hippies. Was it a hippie town?
You could see where you could get that. You could gather that. I want to see where the name. Like,
what's it known for? Like wine or what?
Forests, like nature. It's. Let me say
trees.
Yeah. Hey, comma, what was the name of the hotel we stayed at? Question mark. In Mill Valley? Question mark. Because
you say, hey, comma?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll be all right. So if
that was your nickname.
Yeah, I call her comma. Because she's always that little. She's that added step. It's all right. Sometimes you don't have to tell people what you're really thinking.
Oh my god. Well, I was like, wow, I never heard you call her comma. Wow, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
Comma.
You're all right, Ross.
Hey, comma.
Yeah, the blonde really.
It's coming out hard right now. Wow, she went blonder and comma was her name.
Comma was her name. Oh,
that was tough.
Okay, my wife just told me the name of it. So anyway, we get in the car.
You're not gonna tell people.
I'm gonna tell you in a second once I get to that part of the story.
Comma.
But what I will say is that we get on. Were you texting? Were you looking at Mill Valley song?
Yeah, you gotta see.
Right,
I mean, it's gonna be a nice little button to this, or it's gonna just take it and go
right down. Yeah, you can play it, and the whole monetization of the show goes down. Perfect. So the trip should take you about 5.5 hours as we go into the navigation. So this is how the trip starts. Get on the 5 highway, and I'm like, okay. Tells us we're going to be there 5.5 hours. Oh. And so my wife goes, should we go this way? I'm like, well, you want to get there in time? And she's like, well, why don't we go to, I want to take like the scenic route.
She wants to take the coast.
I want to take the coast.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's going to tack on some time. And we had the dog with us, by the way. Should add that. Dog's in the car as well. And the 10-year-old travels very well. 4.5-year-old, not so much. So I put Elena of Avalar on the fucking, the video. It's a Disney show.
Okay.
And so all of her shows and all these things.
Never heard of that. Elena of Avatar?
Avalar. And it's a very, anybody with kids knows the show. Anybody with kids. I mean, did you miss it?
Yeah, I missed this.
You missed
it.
This it's a big Disney show.
Yeah, I get it. I don't have kids.
So we're driving there, and she's like, so right away, and we had done this once before when we drove to where the hell did we go? Solvang. And it was a faster route to go. She wanted to go to the coast.
That's only like 2 hours.
It adds 2 hours. Yeah, Solvang's only around 2 hours, but this adds about 2 hours to drive. So now instead of a 5.5 hour drive, we're doing close to 8.
Why would Kama want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, because she wanted to get more of a view. And the main reason she wanted to go is because on the 5, all you're going to get in and out, Carl's Jr., like, you're not going to get anything good that we can stop in. And we've stopped in places before and got really good food. We stopped at this place the first time in, where the hell was it? In, Santa Barbara. And it's
the best food in the world.
Really good. And there's a Mexican place we had called Carlitos that we went to. And we're like, well, we'll go there. So we get into this big argument right away to start. I'm like, you want to tack on 2 hours with a kid that is going to be a monster. And she's like, I don't want to be on the 5 because I would have planned out the night before. Then we would have had some food. I would have made food. I don't have food. I'm like, oh. So there we go. So we turn. So it takes us just 45 minutes to get to the PCH from where we were in the valley. So we're flying on the highway. Now we're on the highway, and then it does add that time. But to be fair, the route was nice, and then I just kind of settled in. The dog was fine. Settled in. So now the little one starts to go. We're 45 minutes into the trip. Just hit the PCH. She goes, "Are we there yet?"
Oh, brother.
And we've got now about 7 hours left to go on the trip. So, all the different things we had to do. I can't even tell you how many preschool songs I listened to on the way. And we're driving there, and this is the best part.
Look at the ocean. I've seen it.
Yeah. And then, so we're driving to this place, and right outside of Santa Barbara, we find Carlitos. We find that place that we liked, and my wife goes, "Okay, let's order." We ordered our food. 20 minutes, and we were out. And we were going to get there to Carlitos in 20 minutes. Perfect timing. Now the kid's got the Elena of Avalar. She's watching it. She's quiet, and she goes, "I don't feel good." Looks up, and Linda Blair style, baby. The puke comes out at 100 miles an hour, and Brett, it felt like it was going on for 4 minutes. And when you are us, and even when you're drunk, if you're in the back of a car and you get sick, you try to roll the window down. You might miss. You might think that the window is down when it's really up, but you're aiming for it. And a 4-year-old, she's just aiming. She's not aiming. She's just going. Spewing. And the dog was sleeping there and got out of the way in time, right? So now we are in this a brand new car, puke all over the freaking place, stinking up, and we pull over to this neighborhood. And if you had a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you how to get back there, right? From now. And we're in this neighborhood, and this is where it gets great. So
by great, you mean?
But we're on the side of the road here, taking everything out of the car now, all the puke, everything. And the car seat that this kid is in is just lathered in puke. So my wife now has the gloves on and the water, and she's just scrubbing on the side of the road, nailing this thing, right? And it was like, when the Terminator has somebody and they're hitting it over the head and it won't move? That's my wife when she's just, and then.
You just keep that in your car because this has happened before?
Car seat?
No, the gloves and the water and
Remember, my wife is like, she's with pandemic style. She's got everything. She's got everything and all that, but we're dumping, there's bottles of water and everything. It's the entire drought was caused by us during this thing. So she's just going and everything and just trying to get it out. So this car pulls up. The guy goes, "Hey," my guy's in his 60s, right? "How's it going? You guys visiting people out here?" And I'm like, not really. And he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Kid's sick." And I go, "Don't worry, we're leaving." And he goes, "Oh no, I'm just trying to protect the neighborhood, make sure what's going on with the neighborhood." Right? And I go, "Yeah, we're good. Thanks a lot." And I'm telling you, after that, it felt like we went into like that town in Lost, where the others are just looking at you because people were driving by. These are all like just really wealthy white people.
You were in Montecito, I bet.
I don't know where I was. And they're driving and they're going through and we might as well have been Jesse and Walt selling meth on the side of the highway. And here I am, I literally waving at people as they're riding by. And you turn, if you would have panned the camera, you just see my wife just throwing stuff out of the car, like Wile E. Coyote stuff, like going off to the side. Hilarious. So we clean all this shit out. We get back. And then we get to Carlitos an hour later. And the woman goes, "Thank God you're here. I thought it was a fake call." Because it took us so long. Yeah. So we're eating in the parking lot at this point, and I'm taking the dog. He won't piss finally, and finally he does after he drinks a lot of water. But strangely enough, as horrifying as it sounds, it wasn't arguing. It was like, all right, let's just finish up. Let's go. We get to this place called the Aqua Hotel in Mill Valley. We went over the Golden Gate Bridge.
You just went from 0 to now you're just traveling 5 more
hours. We got
hours?
back.
Yeah, okay.
Not 5 hours. I mean, it was probably we just got back in the car.
Okay.
Did it and with the puke smell is in there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. That's good. No, we had to get baking soda. We had to do all that stuff throughout the seat once we got back to LA. But we had to that was there. And even the little one, "I don't want to get back in here. It stinks." And we're like, "Well, who caused that?" And then we get to this place, the Aqua Hotel, which is fantastic. If anybody ever going to Mill Valley, we went over the Golden Gate Bridge. We go to this place, Mill Valley. It was awesome. Really nice place. Great breakfast. good stuff. And then we went to this. It was like the redwood forest, like where like in that general area, it kind of looked like Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And we spent some time there.
The place with the really tall trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we spent some time there, and we had. I wish I would have brought up some of those pictures that I took, but anyway, and then we but it was the reason why I said because we didn't really spend enough time there. We spent one day. We had a great Italian restaurant that we ate at. The next day, we come back.
You came back the next day?
Well, we got there. We left on Wednesday. We got there Wednesday night. We had some dinner. Thursday, we went to the forest. We had some lunch. We did some more stuff. We had dinner again, and then the next day we left. We had breakfast, and then we left on Friday or whatever.
So during the Schmoedown announcement,
I was on the road.
You are on the road.
I was on the road when the Schmoedown announcement dropped.
Oh my God!
Yeah, the phone was just going bananas as I'm driving.
That's why I didn't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew.
And I'd heard about it prior to that.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
I'd already
So,
talked
we
to him.
had already talked, but I was driving back, and then July 4th, which is where I wanted to go with. I wanted you guys to react to this. Have you guys seen this video yet?
Is somebody gonna get injured? You know?
No,
how I feel.
no, I don't. It doesn't look like anybody gets injured, and that's why. Here's what I'm going to say is that if nobody gets injured, which it doesn't look like anybody does, this is hilarious. If it turns out somebody did get injured, then it sucks. But here we go.
Okay.
Watch. Fireworks going off. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's what. Keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not over yet. Keep.
Oh!
Just keep going. Oh.
Oh my God!
Looked.
Oh my God!
Looks like a Jerry
the-
Bruckheimer.
So what
production.
I think. So this is the one. Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Okay, you're supposed to put the ball in like a tube. I know these fireworks.
do any of that.
Yeah, so they put it outside the tube. It
Did
looks
a car
like.
light on fire?
I think
car
the
blew
box
up.
of the extra ones was sitting next to
Next
the
to the
car.
car.
And it shot over there and lit them on fire. So those are
Wow.
just
It
unhinged.
does look like everybody got away.
I would
Yeah.
rather puke in my car 10 out of 10
Yeah,
times.
but look, I mean,
This is
This
me
whole
and my
setup.
dad and my brother basically every year.
yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, Roxy. Growing up on the East Coast, my wife was asking me like what we did on the East Coast. Where I was, I don't know about you. I don't know if it stopped after at a certain period after the 80s, but like I remember just walking on my street and people were just lighting fireworks off
yeah.
on the street.
For sure.
For sure.
For
That was
sure.
it. And in the middle,
Yeah.
so it was a park called PS 162, and they would take all the illegal fireworks that everyone bought. They would bring them to the park, and it was just like a battlefield.
Yeah, you couldn't buy them in Massachusetts, so you would go over the
Yeah.
border to New Hampshire,
Yeah.
you would get them, you would come back, and especially like in the beach towns, I mean, there was no rhyme or reason. There were no rules.
No.
It just people would be doing it in the daytime. It's like I can't even see it. It's not even dark out yet.
No, there was a guy that used to sell out of his place in Queens. He would sell massive amounts, and you would go and you would knock on his door, and he would show you all the stuff that he had. He had the Roman candles, he had everything, right? And you just go and you would buy them, and it's the same thing like I was telling Brett yesterday. I'm driving yesterday, Roxy, and I see this place closed down, and I said to Brett, I said, how do you know? I'm going to ask you, Roxy, too. I'm going to ask people out there. How do you know massage places if they're legit, or if they're the places that are given the happy endings?
You ask.
No, if you're driving.
Oh,
If you're driving and you look, how do you know?
maybe something about their lights. Is there a code?
If they're still in business, they're giving handjobs. Because there's no chance that anybody's stopping off at legit massage places anymore during the pandemic. It's just like you're driving by. It's like, okay, well, that place isn't legit. I'm like, oh, that place is out of business? They must have been legit.
Damn. I've never ever been offered that. I've never gotten a massage before, but I never heard of anybody going and really getting one of those. I
Well-
kind of thought it was just a movie thing. And
I've never even
until
thought
the
about that
Patriots.
they would give a woman a happy ending, but
I don't know how it
Yeah,
works.
that's the thing.
I don't know how any of it works.
Yeah.
It's like when you go, it's just,
Think.
all I'm saying is that when you drive in, all these places are like, it just, when you drive by certain places, when you're in the middle, and the place, like every other business is out of business, but this one massage place is open.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing.
You know what they're doing. Somebody knows what they're doing. And then when you, and that could be an absolutely a stereotype that is not accurate.
Maybe they're really good with feet.
Maybe,
We
but
don't
that's
know.
the thing. Why right now, even if you told me someone had the best massages that you're ever going to get, I'm not going in there right now, and I would rather just massage my back on a fence. I'll just go like this. Does that work?
No,
No.
no.
All right. Fine.
Ow. You get the splinters.
Well, What? A sprinter.
well.
I'm talking about chain link fence.
Yeah.
Chain link fence.
What kind of fence we talking about
Talking
here?
about
I don't know.
here.
I think of a white picket fence, and then you are in that neighborhood in Montecito, and somebody walks
Right.
by, you clean up.
Can you imagine if that's what I was doing when
Yeah.
they came by? I was just like rubbing my back on one of their fences. They would have had a
We're all
heart attack.
fine here.
Yeah.
I love Santa Barbara and that outside area, but the people there, they pretend to be so painfully chill, and they are so pretentious.
It was. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like they were all alerted that we were on the premise, and it was as if we were robbing a bank.
You're not like in somebody's driveway.
No.
Yeah.
No, we were on the side of the road. Anyway,
Does she puke in the car a lot?
No,
Because
this is it.
I put trash bags over the kids' ears for every trip. I'm
is-
never dealing with that again. It's like,
It was-
because they do the same, even at like 10, 12, they would just do
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm sick.
You got to
was
do the
it.
Dramamine. That my little sister used to puke on every road
Yeah.
trip
Oh,
we went on. The
brutal.
Dramamine really helps. Can you drug kids that are 4?
No,
You
don't
can
do
give them, I know 4, I don't know about Dramamine, but
Yeah. Anyway, listen. They're screaming at us to talk about movies.
oh,
But I do want to talk about some.
Well, they can shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There you go, Rox.
See?
I like what you're doing. I'm rubbing off on you. But let's talk about Thor, Love and Thunder, right?
Yeah. Thor 4.
So people are it's mixed. I thought I was going to be in the minority because I talked about how the movie. It's you didn't like Ragnarok, right?
No, I mean, people thought it was funny, but it was just
You thought it
too
was too
much.
jokey,
There was
didn't
none of the jokes got to breathe at all.
Well, then you're really not going to like this one because this one is now that we can actually talk about it in a non-spoiler.
And I love
version of
Taika.
it.
I love everything Taika does.
Right,
It was
but
just-
that's what I said in my review. I loved Ragnarok. My opinion is that Ragnarok, and some people push back on me on this, and that's fine. I feel like Ragnarok had a good balance. You certainly won't agree with this, but like I thought Ragnarok had a good balance of drama and comedy and told the story. Like there were some good emotional moments throughout it that was like 50-50.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll even push and say maybe it was 60-40 comedy, which I'm not going to argue with. This is like 85% comedy with like 15% the rest, because it takes like 45 minutes before the Jane storyline. I thought the chemistry with those two were great in this movie. I thought that her story works really well and was one of the emotional arcs. I thought the Christian Bale's character had a good emotional arc, but you're 45 minutes into it where it's just almost like a spoof comedy at times. But did you feel the same way? You hadn't seen it last time we saw
I
it.
hadn't seen it. It's still a Marvel movie, so I still liked looking at it.
Yeah.
I loved Ragnarok. This movie was like, it was a little rough for me.
Yeah.
I think that it was so weird. Darina and Steph, the World Girls co-hosts that I went with, were like hooting and hollering, loved it. Steph said it's top 5 Marvel movie of her of all time. So the people I was sitting with were like crying.
It's
they
mixed.
were laughing so
It's
hard.
mixed. It's been
and the
very mixed.
theater seemed so into it. So I was kind of confused when I was watching it, feeling like, huh? And then I did not feel the same way you did. I thought that her storyline, her emotional arc was like
Forced?
borderline offensive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It didn't offend me, but they take a very, very serious story.
I know where you're coming from.
And
Yeah.
it was just like, what the F?
I'm gonna give you what you and I both don't like. That's what was in the comics.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody said that to me. That's what was in the comics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine.
You just
I
don't like
didn't
that angle in the
it.
comics? You don't like the angle
I
here.
just
Yeah.
think, and the way that they did it, they shoehorned a very serious subject matter
Yeah.
into a movie that had 5 jokes per second.
Right,
And I was
right.
and never.
That's the balance.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
it was,
balance.
and it was just like,
Yeah.
wait, then why did we do this? You didn't have to tell this story.
I know that was the tough part of it for me. I liked that storyline. I liked Gore's storyline.
I like Gore's storyline too.
Yeah, but I agree with you 100% that the problem is that it's so mixed into this like just extreme comedy, because that's what this movie is. This movie is an extreme comedy for the majority of it. Thor is not very serious, like maybe at all, except maybe like 10 minutes of the movie.
And a lot of the jokes are really funny.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so. Like Taika's a funny dude.
Super funny. Dialogue was really funny.
I cannot say when I'm watching it that like it's not a very well written joke. The chemistry's not there. The timing, it's all there. It's just when you're looking at this particular movie, I thought that the perfect balance for what Thor was like Infinity War and like Endgame, like that Thor. I thought that played really well with combining both moments and emotions, and I think that was missing heavily in this movie.
All things considered, though, this is my second favorite Thor movie. I really hate Dark World, and the first Thor is fine. But, you know, when I was looking back, the first Thor has a 77 on Rotten Tomatoes. Dark World has a 66. And this, the last time I checked, had a 71. So,
It's going down, it's going down.
Ragnarok has like a 90-something on there, which I think it deserves.
I do, too. I love
Even
Ragnarok.
Brett hates it because he's such a hater.
He hates
I'd have
everything.
to check it out again, but I don't know what it was. It was just something that, I felt like I was overly joked. Like, there's comic reliefs in films, and everybody had jokes.
See, that's the way I felt about Guardians too. But a lot of people say what you did.
Yeah.
That it has that thing, and I think you're definitely going to feel that because I thought Tessa Thompson was good in this too.
Really good.
But underused.
What do you think about Russell Crowe?
I hated what they did with.
What they did with him was egregious.
But I don't want to spoil it though yet. But I hated what they did with Zeus.
What was up with that?
It was the Taika style, and there's some. I was really looking forward to Zeus appearing in this, and I love Russell Crowe as far as performer goes, and it was one of the things I that whole scene that was when I was like, all right, that's the top secret stuff I was talking about, like the spoofy hot shots.
Although where we were looked cool at least.
It looks great.
Yeah,
it looks great. I think I understand why the reactions are as mixed as they are, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are in our camp feeling that way, and then there's going to be tons of people. I think that the casual fan, like Darina, is not a massive, big budget Marvel.
She loved it,
right? Because she's there to laugh. She's just there to laugh and to get a kick out of it. And she doesn't give a shit if Thor is serious or not. If she's entertained by it, and the movie is very entertaining. You can't say this movie's not entertaining.
No, Kristian.
You don't think it's entertaining?
No,
I thought it was entertaining.
You're right, but it did feel long to me. Like they were like it flew by, and
because
I was
don't think
because
you weren't attached the way you want it to be.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, but it is entertaining. You're right.
I feel the same way. I felt the same way where it's just like, okay, we're just joking it up here. This movie is just. But I look next to Winston, who's loving it, and he's just on this ride, and it's like this is an entertaining movie for people who are just there for to go in and going. This is a full-fledged comedy.
Yeah.
Like there's a blend between the two in Ragnarok. This is a comedy.
What's the name of that show that I watched of his? Not What We Do in the Shadows, but the Pirates one that I've been recently watching. I can never remember the name of it.
Oh,
it's Taika's show, and it's about pirates, Blackbeard. I can literally never remember the name of it, but I don't know,
Roxy.
Yeah, that was it. I think that if you watch
Pirates,
Pirates, booty.
Yeah,
Would you like the booty?
Yeah, that was definitely it.
The booty.
Thank you guys for your help on this one.
Something sales or
Soupy Sales?
No.
Soupy Sales?
Remember
I
Soupy
feel
Sales?
like one of you guys maybe while I was talking could maybe look it up or something.
No.
Oh yeah, okay. Soupy Sales.
No,
then we'll go
that
with-
hurts our brains.
Why
What
would
we
you
need
do
to do
that?
is try to figure it out.
No, we're professionals.
No, I think that's right. I genuinely don't know one word in it. I think there might be a question mark.
I think I tried to watch that one.
What'd you watch? Booty Booty?
Booty.
There's a song called Booty Booty. You know that?
Show me the
Booty
booty.
booty 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 booty
Oh.
booty 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 booty. No, not the one that we used to call it. That's one of the songs I listened to on the road trip. It's got the Beyonce thing to it. Dun, 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 dun. Booty 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 booty. I don't know if anybody's heard this, but
And it's part of the Taika show.
I have no idea what it has any. It doesn't have anything to do with what you're talking
It could be.
Right?
They should if they haven't. That's
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you guys know.
Oh, yes.
Was that if
Oh,
you
yeah.
liked that show, which title I don't know, then I think
Booty
you would
booty.
like this movie.
Booty booty booty.
Yeah. So
Booty booty booty.
you love the booty. Hey, well, speaking of booty,
Yes.
Our flag means death.
Our Flag Means Death. That's the name of the show.
You better watch your mouth.
Yeah, I'll never remember.
No,
that.
I haven't tried this.
I struggled with that show, but people loved it. So it's very Taika humor.
Okay.
Or no, I did
well,
try
I mean, that's the thing. I think, and I am a big Taika Waititi
Me
fan.
too.
I think he's very funny. I think he's a rock star.
Is your favorite movie of his Jojo Rabbit though?
Because if it isn't, you're a racist.
No, it's true.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
coming at you
do
for.
like that movie a lot. I don't know if it's my favorite of his. I still haven't seen the other one with the kid. My
Wilder People?
yes, my
I had to
father-in-law was
review that.
watching that and loved it. Right.
That was one of my Breath of the Future reviews. And
Yeah.
that one I had issues with because I wasn't quite sure if it was supposed to be funny at parts or if it's more on the serious end.
It seems to be a common thing with him.
Yeah.
That's just I mean, look, even like
Because this one was like serious, but then there were camping moments
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, that
the
doesn't
same
really
thing.
work with the...
The same thing with the other one. What was the one you just mentioned? The
Flag.
No.
What We Do in the Shadows.
No.
Jojo Rabbit.
Thank you.
What We Do
Jojo
in the
Rabbit.
Shadows, I've watched several times, and
but
I don't watch a lot.
That
of
one's
movies
supposed to, but that one is just that's the tone.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the tone. Like the Jojo Rabbit is a mixture of both because there's some really heavy moments in Jojo
And
Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit's my favorite by far.
It's great. It's great. It's great. And I don't know, but I really love Ragnarok. I do.
I love Ragnarok.
Now I will
It's
say
really
this:
good.
people keep asking me this common question, which is, "Are you now nervous for his Star Wars movie?" And what I say is, remember that he did the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He did a few Mandalorian episodes, right? And the Mandalorian episode that he did starts with a joke with the two stormtroopers going on for a little bit, but then it kicks into gear and it's just one of the best episodes. However, the answer is yes, I am nervous because the difference is that's Filoni and Favreau's script.
Is he writing the Star Wars movie?
He's going to write it. I think that we're going to get something like this for Star Wars, and that does concern me because when it comes to like Marvel humor, when it's placed in there, it's in there, and like when it works, and it's part of it, and I'm fully aware, like, and I brought this up on I think our spoiler review that we do that's coming out soon, but to me the perfect Marvel humor is something like this in the Infinity War when they're battling one of Thanos' agents of evil, and Tony Stark, Wong, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Hulk are trying to fight them off. And Wong saves, it's like a serious moment, but Wong saves Tony Stark, and Tony goes, "Wong, you're invited to the wedding," and he comes out. And he just throws a joke out there in the middle of it. Now, would he throw a joke in real life? Probably not, but that's part of Marvel, and you accept it, and that's the type of stuff that works for me because it's a balance.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, when Pope shows up in that Last Jedi scene and starts talking about Hux's mother's on the phone, it's like that's never worked in Star Wars. Like, and people always miss all the time. I get, well, Star Wars has humor in it too. Of course it does. Of course it does. And I always bring up the scene in Empire or New Hope when Han Solo's like, "We're fine down here. How are you?" And then he shoots the thing. It's a boring conversation anyway. That to me seems like a more realistic what the character would do. Funny. Like, that's the type of stuff that always worked in Star Wars humor for me. And there was a lot of that in Mandalorian. And there was the thing that worked in Obi-Wan that was really good was with the Jawa. When the Jawa comes in and the Jawa's trying to sell him the junk, and Obi-Wan doesn't start cracking jokes and start doing all this stuff. It's the Jawa that was the funny character. And that's the balance that I think is missing.
Do you think there is room in the Star Wars universe for a comedy?
This kind of comedy?
A comedy.
It depends on the comedy. I mean, it just depends on the comedy. It depends on when and who's in the comedy, right? And it depends on what it is. I don't think that Star Wars fans are there yet for that, especially when we haven't really had a full. I think a lot of people want to see the more serious kind of drama Star Wars stuff first.
Yeah.
I don't think comedy is a way to go. But what he might have going for him outside of it is that if he makes a Yoda series and it's a full-fledged comedy, you got problems. But if you're doing like anything that anyone's attached to, you got problems. If you make brand new characters that happen to be goofy with a lot of heart, like he did with Jojo Rabbit, like he did with the other movie, like he did with that Mandalorian episode, then it could be good.
It's just an Amy Sedaris side story.
That would be a goofy comedy the whole time probably. So yeah, it does make me nervous because the other thing is he's got a lot, and as he should, he's got a lot of power right now, and he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's making movies that are making millions of dollars. He's Midas right now.
And actually, I know that we feel like a lot of people agree with us on Thor 4, but it still is certified fresh by the critics, and I think that the audience is going to like it even more than the critics did.
I agree, especially the casual audience.
Yeah.
And the casual audience is where like a Dorina shows up and like that. Like if they're just showing up and go, "Hey, the new Thor movie's out," a casual audience member is going to be, "Oh, I had a good time. It was funny. I laughed the whole time and I was entertained. And that was a good summer blockbuster movie." The way that it's the Marvel hardcore fans, especially Thor. A lot of Thor purists, I find, don't like Taika's versions because this Thor wasn't like this in the comics. So that's the thing. If they want to throw that at you about in the comics, well, in the comics, Thor is Spicoli now.
Yeah,
like he's a goof.
Yeah,
he
is.
He's a goofball now. He's not. There's something that happens in the movie that turned me off that I'm going to talk about in the spoiler review. That he approaches. There's someone that he approaches, and I'm like, that's not how he's interacted with that person in the past, and he's not even being serious with that person. He's cracking jokes. I'm like, this is just a joke. This is just to say, look how funny I can make this scene, and that's what didn't work for me. So, all right, before we move on, I do want to tell you guys about Storyblocks. I've talked to you about Storyblocks many times over. People have also been asking me, speaking of the Schmoedown and what people can do to help. Now, look, I don't want you to just get something because, to help out the show. I want you to get something that's going to help yourself out, and in the meantime, also helping out the show. That's what can help tremendously, and I think that Storyblocks is one of those things. I think Storyblocks, if you didn't know what it was, video creators are constantly looking for ways to improve their videos. And Storyblocks exists purely to help you bring all your stories to life without sacrificing your vision due to the time, the budget, the resources. Every creator who's working right now, you should have a Storyblocks membership. I know a lot of my friends who are in the podcasting space and YouTube making space, they've got it, and you should have it too. You get an unlimited all-access plan that gives you unlimited downloads of over the 1 million assets in your library. You try out multiple options quickly and find the perfect fit so you can create more, spend less without sacrificing quality. And that's what I really, really enjoy about Storyblocks. And what they're able to do is, as you guys know, that video is the most effective way to capture an audience's attention. And as a result, you're always challenged with creating more video content, higher quality, more voices in the process, and distributing on more platforms than ever before. But you face problems, whether it's output demands, time, budget, knowledge, creative inspiration, passion, burnout, mental health. It's all there. Storyblocks makes it possible for creators to keep up with the growing demands for modern video content so you can bring all your stories to life and stop sacrificing your vision due to time, budget, or resources. So go to storyblocks.com/bigthing. Storyblocks.com/bigthing. The link is in the description of this video. As I said to you guys beforehand, you can go to the link in the description, get yourself a Storyblocks membership, check it out. And if you're making videos, obviously, and then let me know once you do get it, what do you think about it? Are you enjoying it? Put it in the comments. I saw a lot of people doing that for a few things that they have gotten before, and they put it in the comments, and I send that over. I send that to the podcast reps, and they go, oh, okay, so people are checking it out, and that's what helps the show, and you help yourself out as well. So, all right, moving on over, we're going to get to, so tell me about this Taron Egerton thing, Rox.
Yeah, so he did meet with Feige, and I know that fans have been already all up on this for a long time. Yeah, talking about how Taron Egerton is definitely going to be the next Wolverine, even though we have no plans for the next Wolverine right now. But this is what he had to say.
Let's hear it.
He said, I don't think it would be wrong to say that I'd be excited, but I'd be apprehensive as well, because he was so associated with that role that I'd wonder if it would be very difficult for someone else to do it. But hopefully it does come around and they'll give me a shot. So it does sound like anybody would be nervous, of course, especially after Hugh Jackman's role. But I think that we saw him just train his butt off for that new show, Blackbird. Yeah. We know that he can train for Kingsman, and I think that he actually would be a great selection. I saw our mutual friend Hector Navarro tweeting a lot about how important it is to him and to a lot of people who are big comic book fans that Wolverine is a shorty. He's 5'3" in the comics, and they really want somebody to represent that because there's so many massive.
5'3", I think he's like 5'6", isn't he?
No, 5'3" is what he said. Sure? And that so in the movies he's 5'8", but in the comics they said that's what Hector wrote, that he's 5'3", which I was like, whoa. So he's my size.
I don't remember him being that small.
That's what I'm wearing, sneakers. I could be wrong, but that's what I think he wrote. So I can look it up. Yeah, but anyway,
that's the one thing I don't challenge Hector on comic book knowledge, but if he said 5'3", I'll challenge him on that. But he is shorter, because at one point, like Mel Gibson back in the day was rumored for it. Like there are a few people back in the day that rumored
Jake
for
Gyllenhaal was.
Yeah, he's taller.
And Tom Hardy.
Yeah, well, Hardy's smaller. Hardy would have been great, right? But I think that Taron is like 5'11", so he's not going to represent the short side of it.
I don't think he's that tall.
He's like 5'10". Let
me look.
At the very least.
6'7".
He's just exactly.
I got to tell my son he's taller than Wolverine.
Yeah.
So.
It says on Reddit. It says Reddit is the source for all that he's 5'3" in the comics. Also, Wolverine's height is 5'3".
Maybe, like I said, I shouldn't fight Hector Navarro on comic book knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I steal all my stuff from smart people. But
that's right. Taron Egerton height. I'm gonna guess. What do you say?
Well, if they're saying that he's smaller, then I'm gonna guess that he's in like 5'6".
I think he's 5'8".
I say 5'10" or 5'11".
He's gonna say he's 5'10", but he's 5'8".
5'9". Okay, so split the difference. Shoot, man.
I've been saying I was
there's a
5'9"
picture here.
for
He's
years.
standing next to Kit Harington. Harington would also be an interesting Wolverine.
Oh,
Yeah, he
but I
would
think
be
he's in
great,
that.
too.
But he's in the Marvel universe. But I like Taron Egerton a lot. So this
And apparently he's also going back to Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's
right as Snow. So I like that actually. But that's something else.
It's just
Just
wild.
as-
They must have given him so
A
much
lot
money
of money
for
because he
that.
said he's never coming back. Yeah. I'm sure that they did. But I think that George R. R. Martin is involved somehow too in that show. But either way, this Wolverine thing, you're right. It's been talked about for a while, and I think he's perfect for the role. I think that he can pull that. He's a very good actor. Whether it's in Kingsman, whether it's as playing Elton John, like all these different things. He can sing, he can do all this shit. He's really talented. And he can also do that range of and Hugh Jackman obviously did it very well, but that calm range to where the explosive anger, that's what made Wolverine. That's a character I never want to see do jokes. I would never want to see a like.
That'd be so weird.
It'd be really weird. That character is so dark, and the stuff that was happening with him in the comics back in the day with like Havoc, and I think it was like called Meltdown or whatever it was back in the day. I used to read that. Like that was I was a big Wolverine kind of junkie back way when, and I think that
Which is how you knew he was 5'3".
yeah I know
that's how you
I don't
do
remember
it.
being 5'3" though.
Christian, there's so many comics. How can
true.
we say he's
I know.
5'3" in
Who
the
knows?
comics?
Yeah, who
Maybe
knows?
in some comics.
Look, they're probably right. And
What is this take on Wolverine? Because I don't know about
no
this.
one knows
There
yet.
is
So
no.
so
So it's not. That,
no,
it's just rumored that they're going to do a Wolverine and he might do it.
So what happened was that this is one of the things that Marvel, when they were just trying to stay in business, they sold off a bunch of their shit, right? The rights for their characters. They sold off Spider-Man to Sony. They sold off Blade, I think, at one point. They sold off X-Men. They sold off Fantastic Four. They sold off all the shit because they were trying to stay in business. Then the MCU hits, and they start making all this money. They want to get people back, and that's why they made that deal with Sony to get Spider-Man. Sony still owns Spider-Man, but they have this deal with them now. But once Fox went under, because Fox bought Fantastic Four, and Fox bought X-Men, and Fox had
What was that X-Men movie that came out with Fox as it was going under with Maisie Williams?
Yeah. New Mutants.
New Mutants.
Yeah, New Mutants. And
Oh,
I've still never seen that movie.
I actually very much so enjoyed it. I
Really?
think I'm the only person on the planet.
Yeah, nobody liked that movie. But I don't think that's true. I think there were some people who said it wasn't as bad as they thought it was.
Yeah, that's
gonna be.
exactly what it is. It's not as bad as it could have been.
It was just buried for so long, and they didn't know what the hell to do with it. But they also had that last X-Men movie with that Simon Kinberg directed that was terrible. With it was like the last of the ones with Magneto. But anyway,
And then spoilers on the most recent whatever Marvel movie that was that we just saw.
Thor?
Nope, before that.
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Yep, Doctor Strange. I blocked that out, but that's our first X-Men appearance in a long in a minute.
Yes.
If you call it
in
that.
the multiverse, and I mean, people know that. I mean, they had Patrick Stewart in the damn trailer, so it's
Imagine if I just gave a Thor spoiler. No way.
right.
Christian.
No, but
Thor?
but it was yeah, that's right. They put him in it, but there was they don't know what they're doing yet, but they just know that Feige wants to bring in Fantastic Four, and Feige wants to bring in the X-Men, and they're going to start to
Because
push
money,
that in.
honey, and people's favorite characters, and Wolverine is
He's one of them.
Yeah.
What do you think about Phase 4 of Marvel right now? It feels all over the place.
Is
right
that the phase we're in?
Yeah.
I thought we were in 5
now.
already.
We're in 4. It
I
feels
think-
like it feels like there's no direction to it yet. I know Feige said there's going to be more of an announcement of what it is, but right now it feels all over the place.
I do feel bad for younger people, especially with phase 4, because at this point, what are, like, with your daughters, right? What is their entry point?
I'm going to show her. So it's funny you say that because my
Other
daughter
than
and
Miss
I,
Marvel.
we're going to, that is the first thing she watched.
Yeah.
That is the first thing she watched, but we're going to start with Iron Man. We're going to watch watch all the phases.
So if anybody wants to watch now, you have to
Go back and
you have
watch
to
it.
go back and watch like 25 things.
that's-
Come on, like that's why it feels a little all over the place to me, because we just got a 4th Thor movie. I think very likely we're gonna get a 5th Thor movie. It's like how many? Are we just gonna? How many?
It's like a TV show, though. That's the thing. That's
guess.
what they did with the way that they set this up. Was that this is like when you start, it's like a full on TV series.
When is the MCU gonna end?
I don't. When people stop watching the movies.
So you don't think they're ever gonna do okay, now we're done with this and we're restarting Marvel?
You mean rebooting and saying we're doing Iron Man again and all that? Well, this is where the multiverse thing comes in. If they wanted to, they could shift and they could say, well, we're going to introduce, and I don't remember if it was you guys who was talking to about it, but I said it pretty clearly. There was no way I thought that Krasinski was going to be in Fantastic Four, the new movie, right? That they're going to do. I said it was a one-off. It was a thing it was a one-off for Doctor Strange, and because it was like the fans kept talking about it, and that's exactly what Feige said. It doesn't look like it's going to be him. I think that they're going to go for a younger.
You don't think he's going to direct either?
Didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
That's definitely possible, but him being Reed Richards, I don't think it happens, and I think that they want to, because of building out more phases down the line. John Krasinski's like 44, 45 years old. Could he do? But could he do 2 or 3 movies now? Yeah, but when you look at Downey, started at I guess that age as well, but. It's one of those things, man. Like you want to start and you want to, because if you lock in a newer actor, somebody new to do this, you've got them for a long time, and you got them, and you don't have to worry about certain contracts. You can take a newer actor, lock them into a 10-picture deal. Imagine right now with someone watches your show, your movie, and Feige finds you and says, Roxy, we want to sign you to a 10-picture deal with Marvel.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'll do it for free.
Right.
No. Don't
tell him.
And that's what I'm saying. So you sign on for 10 years now, or 10 pictures. By the time, and your movie by movie 3 or movie 4 comes out, you could probably be making 10 to 15 million on the next one. Your agent's gonna go, hey, we need to get her 10 to 15 on the next. She's locked in for 10. After 10, if we want to do some more, then she comes back. That's what you got to do. And whether or not you like it or not, or the business side of it, that's what you got to do. The Marvel can afford it. Yeah, but it's I was talking to my friend last night, and he was talking about his buddy who owns a restaurant, and the guy had a very successful restaurant. And the reason why he had a successful restaurant is because he was at that restaurant. He won like all these chef shows, and he was in a restaurant in New York, and he was there every day doing everything that he would have probably had to hire somebody $200,000-$300,000 to do. He's like, that $200,000-$300,000 goes into my pocket right now. But if I wasn't here all the time, I'd have to hire other people to do it, and that's where my other costs come in as well. And there's always those little things that start to pop in on all businesses, from smaller things to the Schmoedown to bigger things like Marvel. So you got to think about things like that. And not that Krasinski's going to cost so much money to do. I'm just saying that's one of the many things that you could do just to lock it in.
Well, I think also, if you're Krasinski's agent and you're looking at his career and you're seeing that he loves to do horror, and he had a whole TV run.
Thrillers more so, though. Thrillers.
Thriller. Sorry. I don't know that Krasinski wants to sign on to being a superhero for the next 5 years.
Right.
Who knows that that's like anything.
It doesn't seem like, but
he loves to direct.
Yeah.
I don't know
he
that
doesn't want to be locked into it. And that's kind of what I mean. Like he's that's my point that I was trying to make before, is that he has so many options right now. He doesn't need to say, "Oh, yes, sign me up. I'm in." He doesn't need to, because he's directing. He's a very good director. He can work anytime he wants as an actor. He's got all these different things that he's doing, so he doesn't need to do that. It's like the Joaquin Phoenix thing. Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be Doctor Strange. People forget how close he was.
Wow.
He didn't want to lock in. Like, he didn't want to, look at all of the movies that Benedict Cumberbatch has done. Like,
how many?
Oh shit, man! If you look at, and let's include the voiceover work in What If, right?
Yeah.
The Spider-Man movie, 2 Doctor Strange movies, 2 Avengers movies, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, at least 7 from the top of my head, right? So you think you're going to get Joaquin Phoenix to do 7 movies? Like, no chance.
Yeah, that's not his style,
Not his style. That's the difference. So Benedict Cumberbatch was not some unknown.
Yeah.
He was very popular from Sherlock and other things, but was obviously way more his style. So, and I think it worked out.
What I'm hearing, and I haven't seen any of these, is that the views are mixed about Thor. Yeah. The reviews were mixed about Doctor Strange, or were those a lot of bad?
No, they were mixed. They were a little bit more mixed.
So what was the last great? Like, what was the last great?
No Way Home? Yeah, that's why
I love that movie so much.
Yeah, I think No Way Home was the best one and that wasn't even that was a Sony movie more so than an MCU movie.
But it is an MCU movie.
It is.
It's just not a Marvel.
It's not a Marvel Disney
solely
production.
Yeah.
It was a Sony
That's
production.
the whole thing is
Because there's
got
to be a point where there's going to be fatigue on this, and where it is going to just drop. And I, like you're saying, Rox, it might. How many does it take for them to be
14 years, man. But
I don't see fatigue coming. I just do feel bad. Like
audience score is big too on these movies too.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer for the upcoming generations that we're like, you want to be into this thing that should be for you. Well, catch the fuck up.
But it's a bummer, and it's not a bummer too, because then it's always like, how many times? It doesn't matter what age you're at. You're like, what am I gonna watch? Oh wow, you know what? I have Disney Plus, and they have all of the Marvel movies, and I always wanted to watch them. And you could watch all of the Marvel movies. You could watch all the shit that you have, like the amount of TV and stuff. And speaking of which, we'll switch to that now before we get out of here. But it's like TV. My wife never binges anything, right? It's always, when we're watching stuff, it's like a couple times I'll push forward to. She cannot get enough of this Outlander show.
I do it.
Have you been watching it?
No,
too?
I've
heard it.
I've been down this path already.
Wait,
remember the sexy time?
I know, but have you seen it?
I've seen it before, but I was in and out of it.
You were in and out. So she's in this show. This is a show that is not like for the faint of heart. This show gets brutal.
No, yeah.
Like I watched whatever she was watching last night. You have those moments when you're watching a show, and someone walks into a scene that is just like what are you watching? Right? That's like, and that was I'm checking, like I had posted that comedy video, and I was responding to the comments, and I look up and I just see this torture scene going on, and I'm like, I go, nice show you're watching here.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, no, it's just I wasn't seeing that. It's breaking her chops, because it looks like a really, really good show.
So there's some brutal shit that happens.
This was brutal. This was Game of Thrones kind of brutal when I was watching this Outlander thing, and it was.
Should I watch it?
It's both brutal and it's sexy and it's I mean, you know, it's about time travel. In a way, but it
isn't. It's like it is and it isn't. It's like that's the premise of the show, is that she starts off in 1947 or some shit, and she touches some kind of magical rock or whatever the fuck it is, and she gets transferred back into like the 17th century or something like that.
And she stays back there the whole time.
She stays back there. I mean, again, I don't want to. My wife said to me last night. She's like, I want to watch season 2 with you, so get caught up. And I'm like, get caught up. You blasted through 16 episodes in season 1. Like The Boys is only 7 episodes, and I'm in like season 3 right now, and I'm like 4 episodes in.
I don't even know how many seasons there are
of Boys of
Outlander.
5. So 5. Yeah, I did the research last night. There's 5 that, and the last one just aired in March. Then they're doing a prequel series.
I don't think she's seen the last one, because it's still on BBC, or is it they brought it over?
I assume that's on. I think it's all on Netflix now.
Okay.
Can you tell me about The Boys?
Yeah, it's a show on Amazon Prime. Yeah. No, it's great, and I think so. I have to finish it, because I don't want to start. People saying this was like as better than season 1. I don't feel that way so far, because I just finished episode 3, so I have like a few. You
haven't hit Hero-gasm yet.
I have not. Yeah. I have not hit that, and that's what everyone's talking about.
But the first episode back, there was that.
Oh yeah, there's a scene that happens that is outrageous, and this is about as Peacemaker style as you get. And I know that Peacemaker came after this, but it's like
I love how many people wrote that on the video. Does he know Peacemaker came second? Yes, he knows.
I'm very aware. I'm just
One
saying
of them has 3 seasons.
Yes.
Does he know?
I'm just saying that the tone is very close to the same. And at first, the first season, I was like, I don't feel that way. But once you get to this particular scene that she was talking about, it's like, it's outrageous. I mean, it's outrageous, but hilarious, and done in a way that there's a particular scene, I think it is in episode 3, that Huey is talking. I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but Huey's talking to Butcher, and they're having this moment, and then something happens, and it was like 11:30 at night, and I just burst out laughing. I had to like cover my mouth because I didn't want to wake anybody up. But
it's just funny.
It's just hilarious, and but again, there is some crazy humor going on, but and it's satire. The entire show is satire anyway, but it all fits inside of this tone that they have set up since season 1. It never feels like it's out of place. It never feels like everybody's just doing the joke for the joke. It all feels like, even the Deep is probably like my least favorite character.
Oh my God, I love him.
It works. And
he did something in this most recent episode, Kristian.
Okay.
I need you
the actor is great. The actor is great, and the Scientology kind of tie into all of it it works. It's just out of the stories that I follow, it's like it's.
Have you seen him before?
In anything? I don't remember. What else was
He
in?
comes from Gossip Girl.
Oh, does he?
He played this like very rich Nate
Douchey?
Archibald. Yeah, and so watching him in this, it's so funny.
He's got a Rob Lowe thing to him. I think the actor is great.
Yeah,
I don't want to take away from the actor.
Well, I
I
get
think
what you're
he's
saying.
really good.
He's not as scary as Homelander, and
no, he's not supposed to be though.
Right.
He's supposed to be.
What do you think about A-Train?
Love him as well.
Yeah.
I think that, and I do. It's not that I don't like the character itself. It's just I think that it's my least favorite out of all of it.
I get it.
Yeah, and because Starlight is great. Homelander is what I like about Homelander the best is that you understand he's like this. What great villains do is they always think that they're right, even when they're not. And the idea of what he's not just this, I can destroy everything. He's emotionally damaged, like really damaged, and you start to understand why. You don't sympathize with him, but you understand why. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on.
This might have to be my next one because we just wrapped up Ozark.
Yeah.
We're going to finish Stranger Things tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have anything that we've really are into, and this might have to be the next one.
It is so solid, Brett. I can't picture a world in which you don't love it.
Yeah.
I think you'll love it. I
Yeah.
think you'll love it. All right. Look, we had a good show here today.
Some might say great.
Some would say great. But this is we talked a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't done that already. I hope you'll get yourself some story blocks and check yourself and make your videos better. And make sure you check out Roxy and Brett and everybody on all the platforms. Check out the SEN Patreon if you have not done that already. Make sure you do that. And that's all I got for you. So thank you guys so much. And if you haven't checked out the stand-up video, please go and check it out. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. And we are going to try to get this channel as big as we can so we can. I don't want to take it on the road if we can't sell out the places. Like, I don't want to start booking. My first goal is that to build this channel up by the end of the year. Here are my goals. I want to get to this channel. I want to get to around 75,000 by the end of the year. That's my first goal.
Woo!
I want to make sure that I'm able to get the big thing to anywhere between 15 to 30,000 views an episode. So that way, when I put tickets on sale for a big thing episode, our first show that I want to do a weekend in New York. And I want to try to do that in either January or February of 2023.
Can I come?
Yes, you would be on the bill, and that's the other thing that I have to do. I want to make sure that everything's in place so that we can afford to take everybody there. So that's the start, and I want to make sure that you guys. And I want to listen to you guys and what you guys want. So I'm just giving you my plans as we're starting to maneuver them around. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.